It's 10 o'clock. This is Sky News at 10, our top story. Red lines from Ukraine's armed forces chief and a warning from Russia's UK ambassador give a reality check on peace efforts.
For us, it is unacceptable to simply give up territory. What does it even mean to hand over our land?
If Europe would like to wage a war against Russia, then we are prepared right now.
But peace has been won at the World Cup draw by Donald Trump, who was awarded the FIFA prize as teams learned who they're facing next year.
England, the 1966 champions.
England will kick off against Croatia, while Scotland's first game will be against Haiti. Also tonight, the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, sets out plans to cut child poverty by more than 500,000. The countdown to a cut-off. Australia's under-16s prepare to be blocked from social media in a ban that will be watched around the world. And together at Christmas, William and Kate are joined by their children and A-listers for carols at Westminster Abbey. And we'll take a first look at tomorrow's front pages in our press preview from 10:30 right through to midnight. Good evening. As the US struggles to bridge the gaps between Russia and Ukraine on its peace plan, two senior influential figures from both countries have laid out to Sky News how far away they are. In a rare interview, the head of Ukraine's armed forces, General Oleksandr Syrsky, said Russia's demands to give up territory are unacceptable and they'll fight on if diplomacy fails. Here in London, Russia's ambassador to the UK told us in his long career he's never seen a higher risk of conflict with Europe. More from Andrei Kellen shortly. But we begin with this report from Deborah Haynes.
For Ukraine's top general, Russian troops, bombs and drones aren't the only threat. He also needs to deal with the impact of American diplomacy.
You're obviously a military commander, not a politician, but as the commander-in-chief of Ukraine's armed forces, could you accept a peace deal that requires Ukraine to give up land it still holds in the Donbass?
Naturally, for us, it is unacceptable to simply give up territory. What does it even mean to hand over our land? This is precisely why we're fighting. So we do not give up our territory.
If Ukraine is forced into a deal that means it has to give up this land, then is all the sacrifice of the soldiers, your soldiers, would that have been in vain?
You know, I do not even allow myself to consider such a scenario. All wars eventually end. And of course, we hope ours will end as well. And when it does, a just peace must be established. In my understanding, a just peace is peace without preconditions, without giving up territory. It means stopping along the current line of contact. That means stop.
Stop, ceasefire, after that negotiations, without any conditions.
Only then will such a peace be fair. Any other terms would be an unjust peace, and for us it is unacceptable.
But with Russia still on the attack, can Ukraine's defences hold?
If you have to, are you ready to keep on fighting? And if the answer is yes, do you have the manpower to be able to keep fighting for as long as necessary?
We have the resources to continue conducting military operations. We do everything so that if the enemy continues the war, and you can see that although we want peace, a fair peace, the enemy continues its offensive, using these peace talks as cover. There are no pauses, no delays in their operations. They keep pushing their troops forward to seize as much of our territory as possible under the cover of negotiations.
And can you keep fighting if, for example, America stopped supporting?
We are
very grateful to our American partners and all of our allies who have been supporting us throughout this war with weapons and equipment. We hope they will continue providing full support. But we also hope that our European partners and allies, if necessary, will be ready to provide everything required for our just war against the aggressor. Because right now we are defending not only ourselves, but all of Europe. And it is crucial for all Europeans that we continue doing so. Because if we are not here, others will be forced to fight in Europe.
He knows all too well what that means for a country and its people. A fate Ukraine's allies will surely want to avoid. Deborah Haynes, Sky News, Eastern Ukraine.
Well, the view there from Ukraine's Armed Forces chief. The Russian ambassador to Britain, meanwhile, says he's personally worried about a wider conflict erupting from the war in Ukraine. Andrei Kelin also offered thoughts on the Salisbury poisonings after a report concluded that Vladimir Putin must have authorised the use of a nerve agent. The ambassador sat down with our international affairs editor, Dominic Waghorn.
It was one of the gravest attacks on British soil in peacetime. Russia has never taken responsibility for the use of a deadly nerve agent that ended up taking the life of Dawn Sturgis. And despite the mountain of evidence against Moscow, its ambassador was today sticking to the script.
Do you have a message for the family of Dawn Sturgis?
I don't think that I have a message, but I will say that it's a tragic death. It's already it is of course sad. I can also repeat that Russia has nothing to do with it.
Ambassador Kalin said he had no explanation for two Russian military intelligence agents travelling to Salisbury just before the poisonings in 2018 and captured on CCTV there. The attack, he insisted, was a distraction from Brexit, staged by the UK, like a work of British fiction.
The evidence that suggests Russia was involved is fairly overwhelming. You're presenting no evidence to back up your claim, it seems, apart from a putative motive.
As I have said, that this script is very elaborated. It has been done by very talented professionals. That is no way. It is very much, however, it is a bit outdated. It reminds me of Ian Fleming or even Agatha Christie, the talented books about that.
8 years after the unprecedented attack in Salisbury and almost 4 years into the war in Ukraine, Vladimir Putin continues to come out of the cold and stride the world stage. Welcome this week in India. What would that paragon of non-violence, Mahatma Gandhi, make of the architect of the bloody invasion today paying tribute to him? While his man in London warned the chances of Ukraine's war spreading are greater than ever.
Is there a chance, though, a greater chance now of war between Europe and Russia than there's been in your career?
Yes, of course. Listening to all these statements about the need to prepare for a war, like our president has said recently, 2 days ago, that we do not want to wage a war against Europe, but if Europe would like to wage a war against Russia, then we are prepared right now.
Vladimir Putin's increasingly ominous tone echoed by one of his most seasoned diplomats. Warnings reverberating across Europe. Dominic Waghorn, Sky News, London.
Let's cross live now to our security and defence editor, Deborah Haynes, who's in Kiev for us tonight. So, Deborah, 2 interviews with 2 senior figures in these warring countries. What have we learned tonight?
Well, I think those interviews really do underline that despite all the talk about peace and hopes for negotiations by Donald Trump, the reality on the ground is that the war is very much still raging. Ukraine's military chief, when I was speaking to him, also gave me a sense of the scale of the Russian attacks that are continuing to come, despite Russia's president telling Donald Trump that he does want to have some kind of peace. He says that there are more than 700,000 2,000 Russian soldiers along a front line that stretches over 780 miles. He says that every day there are thousands of drones being fired by Russians onto Ukrainian positions. He makes very clear that for his soldiers in Ukraine, giving up territory they hold already is, as he says, unacceptable. The only alternative, then, is to keep on fighting until Ukraine is able to help Russia or force Russia to change its mind on the battlefield. And if that doesn't happen, then this war will continue. Or, as the Ukrainian military chief says, if Ukraine is not able to withstand the attacks, then it could well also spread.
Deborah, thank you. Well, peace took centre stage today with Donald Trump at the draw for next year's World Cup in the US, Canada and Mexico. FIFA awarded the US president its first ever Peace Prize for his efforts in trying to bring calm to conflict zones. The draw itself has England facing Croatia, Ghana and Panama in Group L. They'll kick off against Croatia on the 17th of June. While Scotland is in Group C with Brazil, Morocco and Haiti, who they'll play first on the 13th of June. Our sports correspondent Rob Harris reports from Washington.
This was a day crafted less for the World Cup teams, but one man. The football world brought to the Kennedy Centre, or the Trump Kennedy Centre as the president takes to calling it, for a tournament draw with Donald Trump centre stage.
We're a little late to get in there, but it's okay.
They wait.
So are my friends. I guess they have to wait then.
Yeah, they wait.
Finding out who they'd play at the World Cup delayed for presidential self-promotion.
I've saved millions and millions of lives, and that's really what I want to do. And I also want to run a great country. And the United States right now is the hottest country anywhere in the world.
And this was a spectacle to stroke Donald Trump's ego, fulfilling his Peace Prize dream denied by Nobel.
Fantastic. Excellent.
This a creation of FIFA's president.
And you definitely deserve the first FIFA Peace Prize for...
Awarded by Gianni Infantino, seemingly from a short list of one.
This is truly one of the great honors of my life.
It would be easy to forget this isn't entirely America's World Cup. They're sharing hosting with Canada and Mexico. And eventually the spotlight was ceded to their leaders, very briefly. And then what everyone came for, to plot their paths next summer at this super-size 48-team World Cup. It doesn't seem too daunting for England. Their first opponent's Croatia. Then a first competitive clash with Ghana, before completing the group against Panama. For Scotland, there's a familiar feel. After opening their group against newcomers Haiti, there are matches with Morocco and Brazil, who they faced at their last Men's World Cup in 1998. There is room for error. The top two from the 12 groups go through, along with the best 8 third-place teams. Northern Ireland and Wales still have a chance of qualifying through the playoffs. The show went on longer than a match, taking over 2 hours, and it ended as it began, making it all about Trump, bringing the village people on stage, and just like at his campaign rallies, dancing to YMCA.
We've never seen a World Cup draw like this before, so unashamedly political by FIFA, celebrating Donald Trump. But the show did live up to FIFA's mantra of football uniting the world, bringing the neighbours together. Tensions so often stoked by Trump with Canada and Mexico thawing in the name of football.
And Trump ensured this was a rare day football was in the spotlight in the United States. A glimpse of what's coming next summer. A big and brash World Cup, as much about power and prestige as the matches. Rob Harris, Sky News, Washington.
Well, Rob joins us from Washington now. And Rob, some are already calling it the Trump World Cup. Did the Trump show overshadow the draw?
Well, this is everything the showman Donald Trump relishes, the flattery and the acclaim, and yet more gold for his collection. This Peace Prize created for him. So much talk here, less about the matches to come, but the conflicts that Trump claims to have resolved. At times it seemed that football was very much the support act, yet it's the very reason we're here. And yet, while there are critics of FIFA for being too closely aligned in the political orbit of Trump. For Gianni Infantino, he sees as a way of effectively delivering this tournament, short-circuiting that way to the very top to get decisions made quickly. And it does bear similarities to the previous World Cup draws I've been at, for the 2018 tournament when Vladimir Putin was there for the draw at the Kremlin, in 2022 when the Emir of Qatar was there as all the names were being drawn out. And that is ultimately what the football fans want to know from today: who they're going to be playing next summer, who can lift the World Cup, how they can start planning their journeys next summer. But such is the way things are now, even a World Cup draw is spread out, making it even more of a show, because we're going to have to wait until tomorrow to know exactly where England and Scotland will play. And of course there is still hope of Ireland, Wales and Northern Ireland making it. Looks like England maybe could open a tournament in Dallas, which means they'll be under the roof in the fierce heat there. But there's going to be a lot of travel across the country, a lot of travel to Canada and Mexico as well, potentially, on these journeys. It will be the biggest ever World Cup, 104 matches compared to 64 in Qatar in 2022. They say 104 Super Bowls. I don't think America knows what's hit it. I don't think football knows what's quite hit it with the way Donald Trump is going to dominate this World Cup.
Rob, thank you very much. He managed not to call it soccer, so we're making headway. Thank you. The government has published its long-awaited child poverty strategy, which it says will lift more than 500,000 out of destitution by 2030. But critics say the plans don't go far enough, with official figures revealing a record 4.5 million children living in poverty in the UK, almost 1 million more than in 2010. Our political correspondent Tamara Cohen has more.
Anne never expected to find herself in poverty until a marriage breakdown and her parents falling ill changed everything for her and her 3 children.
I mean, I had a really good job, I had a good salary, and I was able to take care of all of our needs. But that kind of change, I just felt like I was in a bit of freefall at that time.
We met her at the North Paddington Food Bank, which gives out cash to help with essentials, as she didn't receive benefits for her 3rd child.
You know, my youngest daughter was having to receive like milk and nappies, and these were things that I'd never really considered. Oh yeah, you know, I'm going to be stuck one day. You just always think I can, you know, you're just going to keep providing for your family.
Parents like Anne will benefit from the government's long-awaited child poverty strategy published today. But the headline measure, costing £3 billion a year, was announced at last week's budget.
Fully costed and fully funded, the removal of the 2-child limit in full from April. We on this side of the House do not believe that the solution to a broken welfare system is to punish the most vulnerable.
Other measures previously announced are free breakfast clubs and free school meals for all children on universal credit from next year. The government had been divided on funding a benefit increase, but the Prime Minister, meeting school children in Wales, said he was proud of the plan.
I said that this government have a mission to drive down child poverty, because children should be able to go as far as their talent will take them. They shouldn't have barriers, but poverty is a barrier.
Child poverty is defined in different ways, but most commonly as getting by on 60% or less of the average income. By that measure, 30% of children in England are in poverty. That total now stands at 4.5 million children. That's up by 900,000 since 2010. The government estimates this new strategy will bring over 500,000 children out of poverty by 2030. Charities say it's a step forward, but want legal targets to tackle the deepest poverty.
Those legal targets would be across governments, and that would really put a real emphasis on all political parties that get behind that child poverty is a scourge on our nation, and we need to cut it.
The Conservatives are against increasing welfare payments.
What they did last week was create a budget for benefits. They've made some people poorer to give other people on benefits money. That is not right.
Anne is getting back on her feet with job training and welcomes the measures.
We feel like we're turning a page, we're finally turning a corner. And I think with the lift of the 2-child benefit cap, that's going to just only make things even better.
Tamara Cohen, Sky News, London.
A former doctor has been charged with sex offences against 38 patients, including several children under the age of 13. Staffordshire police say the allegations against Nathaniel Spencer date between 2017 and 2021 at the Royal Stoke University Hospital in Stoke-on-Trent and Russell's Hall Hospital in Dudley. The 38-year-old from Quinton in Birmingham is due at North Staffordshire Justice Centre next month. In another deal that could reshape the entertainment industry, Netflix has agreed to buy Warner Brothers Discovery for about £54 billion. If approved by regulators, the merger would put Netflix in control of the Hollywood giant behind Harry Potter and HBO Max. Critics are questioning monopoly fears, job losses and the threat of less content variety. More countries may join a boycott of next year's Eurovision Song Contest after a move aimed at blocking Israel's participation was voted down today by broadcasters. So far, Ireland, the Netherlands, Spain and Slovenia have confirmed they won't take part. Irish Taoiseach Micheál Martin says he understands why broadcaster RTE has joined the boycott.
I fully understand the decision of RTE as a broadcaster, because there are two groups of people among many who acted extremely brave during the war in Gaza, the medical community and journalists. And this is, among other things, an act of solidarity with those journalists who were killed in breach of international humanitarian law during the war in Gaza. Without those journalists, the world would not have known, to the degree that it knows, the horrors of what transpired in Gaza.
Australia, which pioneered plain packaging laws for tobacco, is about to implement a world-first crackdown on something else it's deemed dangerously unhealthy: children's social media. As of next Wednesday, the likes of Instagram, TikTok and YouTube will be off-limits for under-16s, with platforms facing fines of almost £25 million if they fail to comply. Sky's Nicole Johnson met a leading campaigner for the ban, a mother whose 15-year-old daughter took her own life after suffering cyberbullying. A warning: Nicole's report includes content some may find distressing.
Surf, sea and skating. What a way to grow up. Vesper Eating and Indy Conwell love to share their skateboarding on social media. They also coach beginners and have corporate sponsors. Their profiles are managed by their mums. But under Australia's strict new law, in a week's time, their accounts will be closed.
What do you think of the ban then? I think it's great in a way that it will keep out a lot of the kids from getting cyberbullied and getting addicted. But also for people like me, I need it for my sponsors and also coaching.
The government says it's banning access to social media for children under 16 years of age to protect them from toxic content and to online abuse.
Australia's laws shift the responsibility from parents onto social media companies. So Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, all of these will be banned. And what worries the social media companies is that other countries are watching what's happening here, and some of them are looking to adopt it.
32% wanted to give it up, but if they felt their friends were going to give it up as well, it went up to 61%.
Some schools are trying to prepare students for life that's not online, even though kids will still be able to use messaging apps. These girls are learning about social media addiction and how to make friends in real life.
I have a little sibling who is now affected by the ban. She got a phone last year and she hasn't got any of the major social media platforms, which is Snapchat and Instagram. And she was a very active kid, but you can see the change. And she's more scrolling when she gets home, less talking, less going out. She's more addicted to the phones.
And that addiction can contribute to severe mental health problems. Emma Mason has seen it all unravel. Her daughter, Tilly Rosewarne, took her own life after being relentlessly bullied online.
Tilly, when she was about 14, had a fake nude that was sent around by a friend of hers at school in Bathurst, and that was a fake porn image. The head had been cut off, and he got Snapchat, took a photo of it and then sent it on a bus to 5 children, and then ultimately spread to about 300 children in Bathurst. And then it went to about 1,000 kids. And by 6 p.m, she had attempted suicide. For me, that was the moment where it was really difficult for her to find hope.
Emma Mason has been campaigning for a social media ban since Tilly died on the 16th of February 2022. She was 15 years old. That ban comes into force next Wednesday. Nicole Johnston, Sky News, Sydney.
And if you've been affected by that story, you can contact the Samaritans at any time on 116 123 or email joe@samaritans.org. The Princess of Wales has hosted her Christmas Carols event in Westminster Abbey, drawing William, their children and celebrities and charity heroes. The service recognised individuals from across the UK who've dedicated or volunteered their time to others. Royal correspondent Rhiannon Mills reports.
With the princess outside to meet them, the whole family arrived to support her. Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis helping with a few finishing touches to the tree for what is the biggest night of the year for their mum. Kate had arrived earlier for the 5th of these Christmas carol services at Westminster Abbey, meeting those performing, including actors Kate Winslet and Chiwetel Ejiofor and the singer Katie Melua.
The fact that what we're doing here is celebrating the audience. You know, all the audience members are here because they've done something phenomenal for the community. And, you know, that's really not easy. It's a tough thing to do. So I really am so kind of proud to be part of it.
I guess you're right. This year's theme was all about love in all its forms. The congregation invited to celebrate their incredible work in communities across the country. Anna and Jonathan Cordiner set up Kaylee's We Stars to help other families after their 2-year-old daughter died of cancer.
As we went through that journey and after that, not everybody is as fortunate to have the support that we had. And we decided we wanted to do something in her name, and I think the main aim for us is just to help families make memories.
I love the way today everybody's being brought together with a common cause, you know, with that common goal of working together to strengthen communities, and it's just a real privilege for us to get the chance to be part of that.
In some ways, it is a nice touch that it was right here that the princess married into the monarchy. And now she's helped create what's become a really important annual tradition for the royal family, and one that's all about connecting with people from right across the United Kingdom. Also inside the Abbey, famous faces and those they've met throughout the year. Stephen Frank, a survivor of the Holocaust, getting a particularly warm welcome. And Hollywood star Eugene Levy, who interviewed Prince William earlier in the year.
Getting an invite from the Prince and Princess of Wales for a carol service at Westminster Abbey. Yes, I'm feeling quite lucky and quite privileged. Peace and goodwill toward men, that really kind of carry the season.
After last year's cancer diagnosis, the past 12 months have all been about her gradually getting back to work. This leaving us in no doubt about what really matters to her. Rhiannon Mills, Sky News at Westminster Abbey.
Well, that was Sky News at 10. Coming up, we'll take a first look at tomorrow's newspapers in the press preview. Tonight, we're joined by leader writer at The Times, Sebastian Payne, and The Guardian columnist, Zoe Williams. Amongst the stories we'll be discussing, this on the front of the Mirror. Its headline, 1 L of a draw. We'll be right back. There are no typos.